So this is a chicken flavor phenomenal soup bowl, like I've had a few times in the past, not too long ago. Only to it, I've added the leftover shrimp from when Mom made shrimp, scallops, and something. It's like broccoli, but it's not quite broccoli. If I recall, she said it was broccolini, something like that. Uh, I believe, if I recall, it tasted similar to broccoli. Only it was longer and a darker hue of green than what I'm familiar with from broccoli. Had that meal around 7:45 p.m. And Mom cooked the shrimp and scallops in this sort of garlic butter that had with some spices mixed in. And, and the garlic butter itself had all these chunks of garlic. Which for this, I tried my best to avoid putting any of the garlic chunks in. The leftover shrimp it was to some extent bathed in the leftover garlic butter. And when I originally had the shrimp and scallops, there's no more scallops. Yeah, otherwise I would have put those in too. I didn't really eat the garlic chunks since I heard from somewhere that eating garlic straight saw somewhere that eating garlic straight can produce a burning sensation. Basically like eating an onion straight, or but only more intense than eating an onion straight. I think I heard that from someone trying to eat garlic straight off of a YouTube video years ago. From 10 to 11 in the morning, Dad and I attended a mass for that same Catholic church / school we tried going to yesterday. Apparently today was the first Sunday of Lent. I didn't know that. And my best description of what took place would kind of be a sermon that was focused to some extent on the first story you see in the Bible, which is Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden. Basically, Mass was a church sermon with some extra rituals thrown in. The stained glass windows were very detailed, to the point where I wondered in my head how they got them that detailed, and those little sculptures depicting scenes primarily involving Jesus were pretty good. Those small sculptures that hung on the wall between the stained glass windows for the most part. Were done pretty well, and not to mention the little painting serving as a background. And the uniforms the staff wore were pretty unique and interesting. At the end of the Mass, I gotta have a brief conversation with someone who if I recall, was an AP US history teacher back when I was in high school, but they weren't my teacher. I got the other teacher of AP US History. They sat to the left of us in the pew that Dad chose for he and I to sit in. We usually don't do this sort of thing. We ended up going there because Dad's dad asked Dad to do that. It was still an interesting experience, though. Yeah, I, for the most part, followed along with everyone who was there to some extent. I recall having some coffee both before and after we attended that Mass. With the first cup of coffee, I had a plain bagel with more of that honey pecan cream cheese that we've had most often recently. I recall having 2 cups of coffee before we attended and at least one after we attended. Maybe 1 to 2 afterwards. And then around 11:15 in the morning, basically right after we got back, from attending that Mass, I went primarily because Dad was going. So I decided I wanted to spend some time with Dad. But also, to some extent, it would seem like a unique experience. Essentially, right after getting back, I had a few of the mild cheddar cheese sticks I brought to Dad's place from Mom's place. Along with part of some homemade brownies made by Dad's mom, along with a leftover slice of pizza from Salvatore's. In this case, one of 2 leftover slices that Dad and I brought home of a pepperoni pizza that one or more of Dad's friends got and shared between themselves. And I recall having all that with a glass of milk. It was all pretty good. It was around 2 p.m. when Dad took me back to Mom's place.